In the quiet of a small-town diner, the kind where the coffee is always hot and the smiles are always genuine, I sat nursing a cup of joe, trying to shake off the chill of the autumn morning. The bell above the door jingled, and in walked a stranger, draped in a rainbow scarf that seemed to defy the town's muted tones. Our eyes met briefly, and there was something in their gaze, a mix of defiance and vulnerability that held me captive. Little did I know, this stranger was about to turn my world upside down. The diner fell silent, the usual chatter replaced by a tense hush. The stranger, undeterred, walked up to the counter and ordered a coffee, their voice steady and clear. I couldn't help but watch as they took a seat at the counter, their backs straight, chin held high. The tension in the room was palpable, and I braced myself for the inevitable. Suddenly, old man Harper, a regular known for his gruff demeanor, stood up from his booth. His eyes were fixed on the stranger, and for a moment I feared the worst. But then, something unexpected happened. Harper walked over to the stranger, his expression softening. "Been a long time since we had someone new in town," he said, extending a hand. "Welcome to Maplewood." The diner exhaled a collective sigh of relief, and the chatter resumed, this time with a newfound energy. I watched in amazement as the stranger shook Harper's hand, a small smile playing on their lips. It was a moment of acceptance, a beacon of hope in a town that had long been stuck in its ways. And in that moment, I felt a spark, a connection that I couldn't quite explain. As the stranger turned to leave, our eyes met again, and this time there was a silent understanding. We were both outsiders in our own way, both searching for a place to belong. I found myself standing up, my heart pounding in my chest. "Wait," I called out, my voice barely above a whisper. The stranger turned back, their eyes questioning. "I'm Alex," I said, extending a hand, "and I think we might have more in common than you know." That day marked the beginning of an unlikely friendship, a journey that would challenge everything I knew about love, acceptance, and the power of human connection. Little did I know, this stranger would soon become the love of my life, and together we would embark on a journey that would change not just us, but the entire town of Maplewood. The days that followed were a whirlwind of emotions and discoveries. The stranger, who I now knew as Jamie, became a regular fixture in my life. We spent hours talking, sharing stories, and dreams over countless cups of coffee at the diner. Jamie's presence was like a breath of fresh air, challenging the norms of our small town and inspiring a sense of acceptance that had long been dormant. One evening, as we walked along the quiet streets of Maplewood, Jamie shared a piece of their past that left me speechless. "I grew up in a town not too different from this one," Jamie said, their voice tinged with a mix of nostalgia and pain. "But I never felt like I belonged. I was always the odd one out, the kid who didn't fit the mold." They paused, looking up at the stars. "It wasn't until I left that I realized I didn't have to change who I was to fit in. I just had to find a place where I could be myself." Their words resonated deeply within me. I had always felt a similar sense of disconnect, a longing for something more than the small-town life I had known. Jamie's story was a mirror to my own, reflecting the struggles and the search for identity that had defined so much of my life. In that moment, I felt a profound connection, a bond that transcended the boundaries of friendship. But our journey was not without its challenges. Maplewood, despite its moments of acceptance, was still a town rooted in tradition. Whispers and stares followed us wherever we went, and I could see the weight of judgment bearing down on Jamie. One day, as we sat in the park, a group of teenagers walked by, their laughter echoing with a cruel edge. "Look at the freaks," one of them sneered, their words cutting through the air like a knife. Jamie's face paled, but they held their ground, their eyes meeting mine with a silent plea for strength. I reached out, taking Jamie's hand in mine, a public declaration of support and love. The teenagers fell silent, their laughter replaced by a look of shock. It was a moment of defiance, a stand against the prejudice that had long plagued our town. And in that moment, I knew that our love was stronger than any judgment or hate. As the days turned into weeks, our bond grew deeper. We found solace in each other's company, a safe haven amidst the storm of small-town gossip. Jamie introduced me to a world of vibrant colors and unapologetic authenticity, a world where love knew no boundaries. And I, in turn, found the courage to embrace my true self, to stand tall and proud beside the person who had changed my life in ways I never thought possible. Our journey was far from over, but with each step, we grew stronger, our love a beacon of hope in a town that was slowly learning to accept the beauty of diversity. As the seasons changed, so did the landscape of our lives and our town. The once muted tones of Maplewood began to brighten, as if the very spirit of the place was shifting. Jamie and I became inseparable, our love blossoming like the first flowers of spring. We found joy in the simplest of things, morning walks by the river, evenings spent reading together, and late-night conversations under the starlit sky. Our love story was unfolding like a beautiful tapestry, each thread woven with care and intention. One day, as we sat by the river, Jamie turned to me with a look of determination. "I want to do something for Maplewood," they said, their eyes sparkling with an idea. "I want to create a space where everyone can feel accepted, where no one has to hide who they are." The idea was bold and ambitious, but it resonated with every fiber of my being. Together, we decided to open a community center, a place where people could come together, share their stories, and find support. The journey to bring this dream to life was fraught with challenges. We faced resistance from some of the town's older residents, who saw our vision as a threat to their traditional values. But we also found unexpected allies, people who had long felt silenced and marginalized, now finding the courage to stand with us. Among them was Mrs. Thompson, the town librarian who had quietly supported the LGBTQ community for years. She offered her help, and together, we began to rally support. The community center became a labor of love, a testament to our shared vision of acceptance and unity. We transformed an old, abandoned building into a vibrant space filled with warmth and welcome. The walls were adorned with artwork from local artists, each piece telling a story of struggle and triumph. The center became a hub of activity, hosting workshops, support groups, and even a weekly movie night. But our journey was not without its heartaches. One evening, as we were closing up the center, we found a note slipped under the door. It was a hateful message, filled with vitriol and threats. My heart sank as I read the words, feeling the weight of the world crashing down on us. Jamie, however, remained steadfast. "This is exactly why we need this place," they said, their voice unwavering. "We can't let fear and hatred win. We have to keep fighting for what we believe in." Their words were a rallying cry, a call to action that resonated deep within me. We decided to hold a town meeting, inviting everyone to share their thoughts and concerns. The turnout was overwhelming. People from all walks of life came together, their voices echoing with a shared desire for change. Among them was Old Man Harper, who stood up and spoke with a wisdom that silenced the room. "I've lived in this town all my life," he said, his voice steady, "and I've seen it change in ways I never thought possible. But this center, this is the change we need. This is the future of Maplewood." His words were a turning point, a moment of unity that brought the town together. The community center thrived, becoming a symbol of hope and acceptance. And as Jamie and I stood hand in hand, looking out at the sea of faces, we knew that our love had not only changed us, but had also transformed the very heart of our town. Our journey was far from over, but with each step, we were building a future where love and acceptance reigned supreme. As the community center flourished, so did our love. Jamie and I found ourselves at the heart of a revolution, a quiet, powerful shift in the consciousness of Maplewood. Our days were filled with purpose, our nights with dreams of a brighter future. But even as we celebrated our victories, we knew that our journey was far from over. The world outside our small town was vast and often unkind, and we were about to face a challenge that would test the very foundations of our love. One day, a letter arrived at the community center. It was from Jamie's estranged family, a stark reminder of the past they had left behind. The letter was cold and formal, informing Jamie that their grandmother had fallen ill and that their presence was requested. Jamie's hands trembled as they held the letter, their eyes filled with a mix of pain and resolve. "I have to go," they said, their voice barely above a whisper. "I have to face this, no matter how hard it is." The thought of Jamie leaving filled me with a profound sense of loss. But I also knew that this was a journey they needed to take, a chance to confront the demons of their past and find closure. I took Jamie's hand, squeezing it gently. "I'll be here, waiting for you," I said, my voice steady. "And when you come back, we'll face whatever comes next together." The days that followed were some of the loneliest of my life. The community center, once a bustling hub of activity, felt empty without Jamie's presence. I threw myself into work, determined to keep our dream alive even in their absence. But as the days turned into weeks, I began to feel a growing unease. Jamie's calls became less frequent, their messages shorter and more distant. I tried to push away the creeping doubt, but it gnawed at me, a constant companion in the quiet of the night. One evening, as I sat alone in the community center, the door creaked open. I looked up, my heart leaping with hope, only to find Mrs. Thompson standing in the doorway. Her expression was grave, and I knew instantly that something was wrong. "Alex," she said, her voice gentle, "Jamie's family, they've taken them to one of those conversion camps. They're trying to change who Jamie is." The words hit me like a punch to the gut. I felt a surge of anger and fear, a desperate need to protect the person I loved. Without a moment's hesitation, I grabbed my keys and headed for the door. "I have to go," I said, my voice trembling with determination. "I have to bring Jamie back." The drive was a blur of highways and rest stops, my mind racing with thoughts of what I might find. When I finally arrived at the camp, the sight was chilling, a sterile, cold building surrounded by high fences. I stormed in, demanding to see Jamie, my voice echoing through the halls. The staff tried to stop me, but I was unyielding, driven by a love that knew no bounds. When I finally found Jamie, they were a shadow of their former self, their eyes hollow and their spirit broken. I rushed to their side, wrapping them in a tight embrace. "I'm here," I whispered, my voice choked with emotion. "I'm here, and I'm not leaving without you." Together, we faced the camp's directors, our voices united in defiance. We demanded Jamie's release, threatening legal action and public exposure. The directors, caught off guard by our determination, finally relented. As we walked out of that place, hand in hand, I knew that our love had been tested and tempered, forged into something unbreakable. Our journey had taken us through the darkest of valleys, but we had emerged stronger, our love a beacon of hope in a world that often sought to dim its light. The drive back to Maplewood was a journey of healing and rediscovery. Jamie and I talked for hours, our conversations a mix of pain and hope, tears and laughter. We shared stories of our time apart, the challenges we had faced, and the love that had kept us going. With each mile, we felt the weight of the past lifting, replaced by a renewed sense of purpose and unity. As we crossed the town line, a sense of belonging washed over us. Maplewood, once a place of judgment and fear, had become our sanctuary, a testament to the power of love and acceptance. The community center stood tall and proud, a beacon of hope that had changed the lives of so many, and as we walked through its doors, we were greeted by a chorus of cheers and embraces, a welcome home that brought tears to our eyes. In the days that followed, Jamie and I threw ourselves into our work with renewed vigor. We expanded the community center's programs, reaching out to neighboring towns and spreading our message of acceptance and love. Our story became a symbol of hope, inspiring others to stand up and fight for their rights, to embrace their true selves, and to love without fear. One evening, as we sat in the quiet of our home, Jamie turned to me with a smile that held a world of promise. "I want to spend the rest of my life with you, Alex," they said, their voice soft but sure. "I want to build a future together, to grow old with you by my side." The words were a melody to my heart, a song of love and commitment that resonated deep within me. Our wedding was a celebration of love and unity, a testament to the journey we had undertaken and the future we were building. The town came together to celebrate with us, their voices raised in joy and support. As we stood hand in hand, exchanging our vows, I looked out at the sea of faces, Old Man Harper, Mrs. Thompson, and so many others who had become our family. In that moment, I knew that our love had not only changed us, but had also transformed the very heart of our town. But our journey did not end with a wedding. It continued, a lifelong commitment to love, acceptance, and the fight for equality. We faced challenges and triumphs, heartaches and joys, but through it all, we stood together, our love unyielding and true. And as we looked back on the journey that had brought us from strangers to lovers, we knew that our story was far from over. It was a tale of love and courage, of acceptance and unity, and it was ours to tell. So, if you're watching this video, if our story has touched your heart, we invite you to join us on this journey. Subscribe to our channel, watch our videos, and share your own stories of love and acceptance. Let's build a community together, a place where everyone can feel seen, heard, and loved. And don't forget to comment down below and tell us your favorite part of the video. Your voice matters, and together, we can change the world, one heart at a time. Because in the end, love is love, and our journey from strangers to lovers is a testament to the power of that love. It's a journey that changed us, that changed our town, and that continues to inspire and uplift. So let's keep the conversation going. Let's spread love, acceptance, and hope one story at a time, because together we can make a difference. Together we can change the world.